Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood, and this video is dedicated to cutting out and assembling my gumball machine. Alright, so this is actually a semi-complicated build because it is a functioning machine and it can be cut out of 3 pieces of 12 by 12 material. I'm using 3mm Baltic Birch, and if we jump in here to Lightburn, you can take a look at how I have it laid out here. I have 3 different tool paths set up on that 12 by 12 or 300 by 300 dimension. This one is the main sides of the box. This one has the bottom and the top, along with the sliding board that the gumball will ride down, a couple of the gears, the landing pad, if you will, for the gumball, an axle, some spacers, and then this one up here is the gearbox. This is the actual gear mechanism that rotates when you turn the crank handle, and this is the agitator that will mix up and stir up the gumballs, and the gumball will deposit in one of these holes in this gear and fall out through this hole right here and onto the sliding board. But I'm going to show you how to do all this in this video from beginning to end. We're going to cut it out and fully assemble the gumball machine. So the first thing you need to do is we need to measure our material and make sure our slots and tabs are set according to the material we have on hand. So I'm going to grab my material, and what I want to do is I want to look for 3 pieces that have the same dimensions, because as you know, your material could vary anywhere from 2.7 to 3.1 millimeters on a lot of even your premium products. So I've got I got one here that's measuring, wow, see, that's measuring 3.3, 3.4, 3.4, 3.3. So that's a thicker piece than normal. This one is measuring 3.1, 3.1, 3.1. 3.0, 3.2, 3.0. That one's 3.3, 3.3, 3.3. 3.1, 3.1, 3.1. 3.1, 3.2. Alright. I'm going to grab another piece because that one's so thick. Alright, and this one is measuring 3.0, 3.1, 3.0. So I'm going to go with those last 3 and put that really wide one to the side. Okay, now I'm going to look at all 3 of these and go with an average. And the average looks like it's 3.0. So I'm going to set my slots and tabs to 3.0. So now what I need to do is select my entire design. Look up here and make sure that it is completely ungrouped, and it is. Nothing is grouped. And I need to resize my slots and tabs. So go into Tools, come down to Resize Slots and Selection. Put in my old material thickness and put in my new material thickness, and I've got my tolerance set to 0.8 millimeters so that I can feel good about I'm getting everything. Now I need to resize slot depth, slot width, and tab height. So, and the next version of Lightburn, version 1.5, will have another button here on the resize slots tab. There'll be, instead of OK and cancel, you'll have apply or something. There'll be a third option here. Because right now, the way this works, we need to resize all three of them. Well, we cannot select more than one option at a time. And that's because Lightburn does not have the ability at this time to distinguish between a slot and a tab. But with my designs, you don't have to worry about that. I have designed it so that Lightburn will not confuse one for another. And as long as you do not do any node editing or offsets or anything like that, you will not have a problem working with my files as they are with this tool and know that it's going to pick the right option. So you can just start out at the beginning at slot depth. You've put in the old material thickness, put in your new material thickness, increase the tolerance, to at least 0.8 or so to make sure you're getting everything, and just say OK. And now it's closed. Now you got to go back and open the tool again, resize slots and selection, change your adjustment. You're going to change to slot width and say OK. Tools again, resize slots and selection. This time we're going to do tab height. Now I'm told in version 1.5 that you'll have that third option here to where you can just click apply and just go grab the next one, apply, grab the next one, apply, and the tool will stay open until you've made all the adjustments you need to make. So let's cross our fingers that that comes to fruition. Alright, so that is now resized to our new material. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to say Control D. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to group that duplication and send it to the right, or to my home position on my diode. Now I'm going to ungroup that. And I do that because whenever I'm working here at the laser, I like to keep my original design here intact. Now I can move stuff around, do what I need to, and I've always got my original in play. Or, not in play, but actually off to the side. So I've got my material set up on the laser. I've already focused. Now I'm ready to send this to the job. I just got to set my cuts and power ratings. Let's see here. We're doing 3 millimeter cut, assign. And this one is giving me a little bit more trouble, so we're going to go 210 and say OK. And let's send that to the job, or send it to the laser. Okay, so I've kind of did a quick dry test fit of everything. That's snapped together. Let's get this glued up. Now I need to glue my gears together. I got to make sure that you line up everything so that it's got the right alignment so you can put your axles in. Clean up any squeeze out. Repeat on this one. You don't really need to glue this, but I'm doing it so around the teeth on the gears, so that if it's subjected to any humidity or anything like that, then they're not going to want to split apart from each other. So make sure you got your distribution hole lined up. That will make sure your X's are lined up. These pieces interlock, and the longer ones, you've got two pairs of these. You've got longer ones and two shorter ones. The longer ones are for the handle on the side of the box. That's for your crank. Your gear is going to go on there, and it's going to glue up here. Now you need, pretty sure you're going to need 3 of these. Well, I just split my, what do they call that? The veneer. There we go. Trying to do too many at one time. 3 of those, and then your gear, your small gear. Then one more here. And you're going to glue all that up like that. So you got 3 spacers, your gears, and then another one. And then you're going to come outside, another spacer, and your handle. And then, let's see here. I get her good and flush like that. And then glue a solid one on top of there. Okay. You have to be careful when you're gluing that up so that you don't glue your handle to the face, because it's got to rotate. And all that's got to rotate, so I actually don't put any glue on any of those pieces inside there. I will just glue this up here. Squeezing some good amount of glue in the corners there. Oh, too far. And now glue that on there. Doing the same thing on this side. I'm not going to put any glue here because we don't want to take a chance on gluing that up. And what I'm doing there is just pushing against this outermost piece and grabbing that piece I've slid on the axle and squeeze it together. And get some glue everywhere, but all this will wipe off with some water. We got some good squeeze out coming around in there, so that's good. That's getting a good amount of glue, but we're keeping our rotation. We don't want to do it too much because we want to keep that good and square until she dries up. And that is your handle for the side. Some tissue out here. Let that dry up. That's good. Now this is going to get glued up like so. This axle. All right. We can start putting the gearbox together. All right. Let's put a little glue around here. And this is what I refer to as the agitator. This will bounce the gumballs around. When you glue it up, you want to make sure, obviously your distribution hole is in an open slot, but you got to make sure you got that cross lined up. Your axle is going to go through that. There we go. Now, I will do the same thing I did on the outside. I'll put some glue in the corners here. Then take a smooth one, put it right over the top, and then press it flush. And let that dry up. I believe we've got a couple of extras here. This is a washer that will slip over the bottom and then allow that to spin on the washer. That won't be glued up. All right, now we can start working on the box. All right, this is the bottom of the box. This is the sides. And this is the guard and the separator that's gonna, the point of these is if the gumball machine's sitting in a place where it might be getting humid or the gumballs might get sticky, well, as they're rotating around that agitator and they come against here, this will help break them up and like keeping them from sticking to each other. That's the pretense. That's the idea behind that. All right, now this you want to assemble this first, and you want to have the slots closest to the top. The larger area is the bottom part of the box. So we're going to dry test fit it first here, like so. And there's one of them that has a slot in the rear. And I've done them this way so that you have to think about it when you're putting this together, because there's a lot of things going on here as far as making sure you've got which one's the top, which one's the bottom, and then also once you get this fully assembled, where the gear is going to be, because you've got the top gear, which will be horizontal, and the vertical gear on the side that are going to have to line up just right. So now with that done like that, then we're going to put this in, and this bigger hole is your distribution hole. That's where the gumball will fall out of. So that's got to go in the rear. So you want the gumball distribution hole with the single slot. Like that. But before you put that in, go. That'll go like that. And then your distribution hole, that'll go like that. And now that is fully assembled. Now we just got to glue it all up. Okay. So test fit's good. Let's glue this up. All right, this is where you start paying attention. Your distribution hole has to go back here at the back, which is this here. The gear doesn't matter because it's going to be spinning. But that's got to go to the rear. And you got to pay attention to where you put this slot. So if we look at this box like so, we're now looking at the top of it. The distribution hole has to be back here, and the gear, the slot for the gear, has to be over here on this side. Now, normally I wouldn't go together this quick with it. I'd give more time to dry, but I'm trying to make an assembly video for you guys. So there we go. So the assembly hole is lined up with that one large tab, and the gearbox, or the slot for the gear, is on the right side if you're looking from the top down. Now you can put the top on. You'll notice the top has got 2 slots on one side and 3 slots on the other 2 sides. And that's just to help you make sure everything's lined up properly. All right, let's see here. No, was that? What have I got? What have I got? Oh, no, wait a minute. Sorry. These go, that's what these slots are for. This gearbox actually goes underneath the top of the box. So you line up those 2 slots. And 3 slots, and this is going to be a little bit fun. All right, so where I went with 3.0, and this is about 3.1, that's okay. All I'm going to do is take my sandpaper and just on the tops of those tabs, I'm not even going to do much. I'm just going to give it just a little bit of polish in there, and we'll do that all the way around. And that little bit's all it took. And now she's going to be a good, tight, snug fit. Well, got it on 3 sides. Just a little bit more here. Okay. Now that is a fully functioning gearbox. So looking at it from the top, your divider is lined up obviously with the one large slot in the back. And as you rotate it on around, your opening is on the right side of that gearbox for that gear to line up to. All right, so there's that. Now we can do our bottom. Obviously the one with the hole is the front. When you go to put the top on, you don't want to force it into place because you've got to get your teeth with your gears to marry up. So you're gonna let gravity do its job, and then you will have to start twisting the gears around to get the gears to line up. Slot's got to go over the gear. So let gravity kind of pull it down into play, and there actually, I just slipped right into place. But it doesn't always go that easy. Sometimes you have to kind of work that around and let that fall into place. Now with all 6 sides together, make sure she's nice and square. And now you have the machine part is done. Of course, this is still extremely wet. It's going to have to dry up. Once you get that done, you've got these little pieces to glue up to make the little catch place there for the gumballs.
Now, I do not recommend you doing it this fast. You know, glue it up, let things dry, and then assemble. But if I tried to do this in the time it actually should take for YouTube, it'd be here forever. And this is going to be long enough as it is. And then lastly, this is optional, but you can put that on top right there, just kind of clean up the top. And it's large enough to still allow for your glass jar to drop down in there. In fact, you don't even have to glue it up just yet. You can leave that off till you've got your glass jar, you know everything's going to work. But that is the gumball assembly. Now on the glass jar, when you go to put that on there, you don't want to tighten and tighten and tighten until it won't tighten anymore, because you'll actually run the glass into this piece, and then you could actually start pressing down on it and put the gear mechanism in a jam, in a bind. You just want to put it on there and twist it. You kind of feel it get a little bit snug, and that's all you need to do. And then as you rotate your machine, those little cross pieces in there, the gumballs are sitting in there. That's going to cause the gumballs to bounce up and down. Eventually the gumball will find its way to the hole and then drop out the back onto the sliding board and out the front. The gear ratio on the gears are 2 to 1. So for every 2 revolutions you make here on the side, you get 1 full complete revolution on the top. And it takes 1 revolution at the top to get a gumball. And it doesn't really matter which direction you turn this. It's going to work either way. And you can see on this one, I actually got a drawer pull from Hobby Lobby and glued just a simple drawer pull onto the side of the handle to actually give something better to hold on to. You could cut more and more pieces and put out here and do that, but I like that drawer pull. It just has a better feel to it, looks better, and you can get them for 25, 30 cents at Hobby Lobby. I got the glass jar at Hobby Lobby. And they had multiple shapes and designs that would fit this. I just like the look of that jar. It was, to me, with this square or rectangular box, that the proportions on that was what looked best. So that's Hobo with Wood's gumball machine.
So those 2 extra pieces that were laying over there, they weren't both extra pieces. One of them might have been. But what I failed to do in that assembly process was, when I was putting together the gearbox, you should have put at least 1 of those on this bottom piece and then glued that up, making sure that you were still able to spin that easily and not actually glue it to the box. But by gluing that in place on the bottom and sandwich it in there pretty good and tight, keeps everything square and keeps the gear locked in place. Gravity's going to hold it in there. That one's not going to be a problem that I didn't put it on, but it's just better to go ahead and put one on there and glue it up and get it good and secure and square. So this design is available on hobowithwood.com. It is not a simple build. It's not extremely hard, but it is a little bit more advanced than anything I've been putting out there. It's probably a little more challenging than the lady's clutch or the purse that I did. It's a lot more fun. It's not. It's not. Let's just say it's more fun. I'm going to put this on the website, and it's going to be for. We're going to do this one for $15. $15 on hobowithwood.com. However, it is now November 25th, just after Thanksgiving. I actually gave this file to my patrons. This was their Christmas present / Thanksgiving present. I gave this to my patrons. And I was going to make it only available until the end of the month, so new patrons coming on board would not have access to this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it available through the end of the year on my Patreon page. If you jump over to Patreon and become a patron, you're going to get, between now and the end of the year, you'll have access to this file, in addition to every single file that I have shared with my patrons up till now. That's a year's worth of free files and a $15 file that I'm going to leave on there for you to download for free as well. If you sign up on patreon.com/hobowithwood as a gold tier supporter. It's $20. But that $20 is going to get you an entire year's worth of files plus this file. Really kind of a no-brainer. Patreon.com/hobowithwood. And this offer will only exist until the beginning of the new year. I'm going to have to go in and edit it so that all those files aren't out there for anybody who just happens to sign up after the first of the year. So between now and 2024, that's the deal. That's my Christmas present to everybody. Hobo says Merry Christmas. Sign up as a gold patron on Patreon and get an entire year's worth of files plus this $15 file for the gold tier sponsorship. After first of the year, if you determine that, I just don't think I can do the gold tier and you don't see the benefit in the gold over the silver or the bronze, after first of the year, step it down to the silver level or the gold or the bronze. But I believe you'll see the value in remaining at a gold tier patron. Until the next video, I'm Steve, Hobo with Wood, and I'm getting out of here.